Good Friday afternoon, guys. My name is Jerry Miller, and welcome to the I Love CVille Show. It's good to be with you on a Friday. We are live in Charlottesville, the Commonwealth, the country, and the world on the I Love CVille Network. Thank you kindly for joining us. We bring positive, approachable, and informative content to you 5 days a week, which is now up to, 14 hours, 15 hours of live programming each week. Some special announcements on the horizon with some new shows coming to the I Love CVille Network. We'll give you more information on that next week. We're excited for those announcements. If you could do me the favor in liking and sharing the show, hit that like button now. That would mean the world to us. Better yet, share it to your friends so we spread the platform. I think it's important for people to be informed with what's going on in their community. That's going to make us better Charlottesvillians, more informed Central Virginians, more informed Virginians and Americans. That's all we're trying to do. So we're going to talk about the impact of dairy market, Chris Henry, Stony Point Development, doing some big-time things across Central Virginia. Chris Henry and Stony Point, the landlord of Johnny Ornalis and his family, El Merachi, which is coming to Zion's Crossroads. He is building apartments, building commercial development. He's the guy in the vision behind converting the old dairy building on Preston Avenue. So we're going to talk the impact it will have as we inch closer and closer to their grand opening. $90 million in budget cuts for the University of Virginia. Ouch. And yes, that is due to COVID. So we'll analyze how $90 million in UVA budget cuts will impact a school that I love dearly. We'll talk about a coffee shop from Charlottesville expanding to Richmond, Virginia. Unfortunately, we have 30, yes, count them, 30 Richmond restaurants that have closed forever. I'm going to rattle off those 30 restaurants for you. Some of them you will know, love, and miss dearly. We'll talk the best sushi in Charlottesville. We've eaten at, my family and I, my wife and I, we try to get Trey, our 2.5-year-old, to eat some sushi, and he was not feeling it. He very much prefers fruit snacks, chicken tenders, and yogurt pouches. So that's what he eats. So we're going to analyze some of our favorite spots so we can relay that information to you. So if you want to support some locally owned businesses and have some fantastic sushi, maybe you got some idea where to start. We'll talk about a basketball tournament that kickstarts the college basketball season, the Maui Invitational, going from Maui in Hawaii. Maui is where my wife and I spent our honeymoon. Maui and Kauai, 7 days in each. And the Maui Invitational, due to COVID-19, man, when are we going to stop saying that? Is moving to Asheville, North Carolina. Talk about a tale of two locations, Maui to Asheville. So that topic on today's show. Miami and Louisville, two ACC schools, are the big-time college football game on Saturday. In fact, the only game on the docket that pits or showcases two top 25 teams. Louisville's a 2.5-point favorite. Wake Forest at NC State at 8 o'clock. NC State Wolfpack, a 1.5-point favorite. We'll analyze those games and discuss the cancellation of 4 contests that were on the docket for this week. 4 college football games postponed or canceled due to COVID-19. We'll let you know how you can get the best internet possible, and that's Ting Fiber Internet at a $288 reduction in price only through ilovecville.ting.com. And of course, we got to shine a positive spotlight on a business that is making this community better. A positive company, Interstate Pest and Service Companies. 4 generations of family, 50-plus years of service, a home's best friend. Interstate Pest and Service Companies. Frankly speaking, the only phone number that I know, I do not even know my wife's phone number because I just have it on my phones and I hit favorites or I say, Siri, call Lauren, but 434-295-6565. It's just like drilled into my subconscious. Fantastic business. Judah Wickhauer is the fabulous director of this program, a friend, a scholar. We're very different people, and I think those differences are complementary and make for what is the top advertising agency in Charlottesville with the most market share, just cutting to the point, cutting to the chase. Let's run headlines. Judah, Susan Stimart is going to join us on the broadcast. We will talk Thomas Jefferson Community Land Trust, one of the important organizations, the Thomas Jefferson Community Land Trust, through an innovative land trust model that is working hard for this community. We will analyze that with Susan. We had an emotional interview last Friday with one of the buyers of a townhome from the land trust, and she just talked about how the Thomas Jefferson Community Land Trust is approachable, knowledgeable, and committed to the community. So that interview is coming up. I'm excited for that one. The first headline has got to come from Dairy Market, and we're going to spend some time on Dairy Market, but they have now announced that a Moo Thru, a family-owned Virginia-based creamery, Moo Thru, is coming to Dairy Market, Preston, and Grady Avenues. Moo Thru, known for its handcrafted, slow-churned ice cream and milkshakes. Cut to the chase, Dairy Market has got some bona fide tenants. You have Angelique's, you got Dino's, you got Jay Pun and his Chim brand are opening up another location over there with some fantastic Thai food. You got, is it Eleva Coffee? You got Take It Away Sandwich Shop. I mean, it's legit. It's turning into a epicenter, or kind of like an anchor space. You're going to have a multi-use complex, 50,000 square feet of Class A, you heard me correctly, 50,000 square feet of Class A office space, and 180 one- and two-bedroom luxury apartments. So when you have event space, you got Star Hill opening up a tap room there, you got a spot for outdoor, you're basically getting a live, work, play. 50,000 square feet Class A office space, 100 one- and two-bedroom luxury apartments. So on site, you'll have what? Anywhere from, 4 to 600, 700 people living there. A hell of a lot of people working there. I believe Dexcom, one of the tenants, and some really strong businesses renting there from a drinking and eating and an entertainment standpoint. Let's talk about the impact that Dairy Market, and I hope Chris Henry or Stony Point or Jody Mills or Johnny Pritzloff or Jenny Stoner are watching. The impact that this community, this development is going to have in Charlottesville, I think is going to be incredibly impactful. It's going to be a great impact. It's going to be a noticeable and a momentum-driving impact. We know when something has novelty or it's new or fresh to market, folks flood to go there. Folks will patronize and support because of that novelty factor. We know with so many businesses with employees working there and with the one- and two-bedroom apartments, they're going to have built-in demand from the people doing the 9-to-5s, the 9-to-6s. I mean, what is it now, guys? In a 2020 world, I feel like it's almost like an 8:30 to 6:30 is the work day. I mean, in my situation, I feel like I'm going 8:30 to 8:30 6 days a week. That's a story for another day. That's a story for my wife and I, which I'm sure I will be hearing this weekend. Anywho, so the impact is going to be positive. You'll see new jobs. You'll see incremental tax revenue. You'll see what will be another corridor for enjoying entertainment. Much like downtown's a corridor, much like Midtown is a corridor, much like the corner, Ix is thriving and booming into a corridor or area for food and entertainment. This is going to be one, without question. I think if you're worried about anything, it's obviously a traditionally African-American neighborhood, and that 10th Street neighborhood is going to gentrify extremely quickly. I certainly expect taxes around the neighborhood, assessments around the neighborhood to go up. So if you're worried, that is something to consider, okay? And that's fair. It's a fair statement to say. It's not me, hyperbolizing it or anything like that. That is a fair statement to say. I think in the grand scheme of things, in a time where we have tremendous uncertainty going on, having this new project is something we can have some hope to patronize and visit and support. Angelique's is great. Dino's is great. Dino's is going, Dino's, was it from the Brick Oven, I believe? In the Rio Hill Shopping Center. He sold that business. And now he's going to get a little pizza, a little rotisserie chicken over there We know Tom at Take It Away has got phenomenal sandwiches and phenomenal house dressing. Star Hill's an established brand. So it's going to give us something to get excited about, and grand opening is around the corner. So we'll follow it. Now, if you're a local restaurant owner, maybe you got a little concerned that the slice of pie just got smaller or will get smaller. That's fair. You certainly have more competition. I think this is going to be executed in a much better capacity than Stonefield. And Stonefield is another live, work, play with those apartments, opportunities to work, and of course the shopping and dining at Stonefield. Stonefield, the mistake Stonefield made was charging rents that were synonymous and equivalent to Northern Virginia. And because the rents at Stonefield, the second most expensive district, Barracks Road's number one. The scuttlebutt before COVID, where Brick's Pizza was in Barracks Road, the scuttlebutt was it was like $85 per square foot at Brick's Pizza in Barracks Road. That was that island pizzeria that closed down. $85. That is obscenely rich. So the mistake Stonefield did was it made its price per square, its rents, so expensive that only national chains could afford to really operate in that Stonefield development. And because the rents were so astronomical, and because it was only big-time chains, Charlottesville was a bit resistant to flood Stonefield and support it consistently over time. That's why when you drive through Stonefield now, you see massive vacancy, and you've seen restaurants like Rock Salt and Trevinia and like Pasture and Parallel 38 close their doors. The word on the street was Rock Salt wasn't paying rent for 13, 14 months before it closed its doors. So I think what Chris Henry and Dairy Market and the team, Johnny Pritzloff, Jenny Stoner, they realized the mistakes made by predecessors like Stonefield and instead created a more approachable and price fair concept. And that's why you see someone like Angelique, who has a food truck, now having the affordability to open up a food stall. Someone like Dino, and Dino will straight up tell you, I make great food, I'm not a rich man, but someone like Dino being able to afford it. Jay Pun and his family doing a third location. They're the Thai cuisine and noodle house family behind Stonefield, and of course Chim and Fifth Street. Tom at Take It Away. Okay, local guys, local people, we see it Fridays after 5. And for us, the Charlottesvillian, that local appeal is paramount for consistent patronizing of Charlottesvillians and customers. So salute them, very excited for them to open. I know COVID has pushed that opening back some, but this will positively, for 90%, impact the community. You will see gentrification around the neighborhood, and you will see enhanced competition and more restaurants in Charlottesville, and it's an already saturated category. But for the most part, this is very positive news. And it's going to turn that Preston and 10th Street corridor into a hotspot, undoubtedly. We'll follow it closely. I need to move on because I want to talk budget cuts at the University of Virginia, J-Dubs. If you can get that on screen, $90 million in budget cuts, to be exact, from the University of Virginia. $90 million due to COVID-19. That is a 2.3% reduction in budget. The total budget for UVA is $3.76 billion. That was approved by the Board of Visitors on September 11th. Guys, when you don't do elective surgeries at your hospital, and that was early COVID, elective surgeries were put on ice, you furlough people. And that's why we saw hundreds of UVA employees at the hospital system furloughed. When you don't have fans in the stands for college football, I hate to say this, potentially college basketball, you're losing tremendous revenue that you planned for. When you don't have students patronizing on-grounds cafeterias at the clip they normally did, or students taking gap years and bypassing tuition payments because they wanted a normal 4-year college life instead of this virtual one we're with, those are going to lead to cuts. And what's happening as a business owner, many of you are, maybe you work for a business owner and you're close, what's happening is it's happening from a lot of different sides. You got the hospital system, you got athletics, you got tuition, you got room and board, you got food and beverage, you got attendance at games, you got donations, all being impacted here. And you add these paper cuts up, and before you know, that paper cut goes from a small little slice on a finger to a wound on the body that causes $90 million in cuts to a university that we all love so dearly. So we all ask, look, they have $10 billion with a B in an endowment. Tap into that endowment, and let's keep the furloughs from happening, and let's keep the salary cuts and the budgets cuts from happening. But it's not that easy, because that money in the endowment was donated by folks and earmarked for a certain allocation. Name on a building, name the library, School of Commerce, some branding rights on a football field, whatever it may be. And when they make this donation or give this money to an endowment, it's on the condition the money is allocated as they agreed upon. So this $10 billion with a B that they have in this account, that can't help float. That can't help float the debt service. So, as a result, $90 million off the books, $90 million cut off the budget. It's going to lead to some more furloughs, unfortunately. And I'm a God-fearing person. We talk about this on the show. We often pray on this show. I mean, it's just a matter of us managing this and then getting to a vaccine, right? That's where we're at. Get to a vaccine. We've learned a lot. Do we think we're going to shake hands again with people? Do we think shaking hands is going to be eradicated from human behavior and human culture? Maybe so. Maybe so. Is the concept of wearing masks in public places going to be the norm, even if we have a vaccine in play? Maybe so. They do that in a lot of Asia, right? Wear masks everywhere they go. Okay? So we're going to see a lot of human behavior and a lot of social norms change. And frankly, from a hygiene and health standpoint, for the better. I mean, can you imagine now the concept of what we know of going up to somebody, shaking their hand, a complete stranger at a business meeting, because it was seen as what you had to do to consummate a relationship from a business standpoint? I mean, that's what it was. You had to do this. And my dad used to say, firm grip. Don't let that wrist break. Look them in the eyes when you shake their hands. Get close to them and project a feeling of confidence. Now it's, say 6 feet apart if you're meeting in person, or meet the person for the first time via Zoom online, via Skype online, right? That's called human behavior and social norms changing and altering. $90 million in budget cuts for the University of Virginia. Now let's get to some positive news. I'm an entrepreneur. I'm a business person. I love to celebrate the small business community, the medium-sized business community. Judah, a good example of this is Scott Wagner, of Scott Wagner Chiropractic and Sports Medicine. Dr. Wagner, a changing people's lives through chiropractic care, sports medicine, and physical therapy. Who's got your back? Dr. Wagner's got your back. That's a heck of a tagline. I really like that tagline. Someone creative came up with that Scott Wagner tagline. So, celebrating the entrepreneurial community, how about the gentleman at Grit Coffee? The gentlemen at Grit Coffee are also the gentlemen behind the Wool Factory. Well, boys and girls, Grit Coffee, you look at the screen, the headline's up, is now expanding to Richmond, Virginia. So we have to champion and celebrate small businesses expanding because, frankly, 80% of small businesses fail in their first 3 years. So we need to give them props, accolades, and support at any time. we certainly have to champion and give props to businesses expanding during COVID-19. And now on Grace Street in Richmond, Grit Coffee is opening up. On Libby Avenue, Grit Coffee is opening up. That's the company's only location outside of Charlottesville. So props, fellas. Job well done. In COVID, you're expanding to 60 miles outside of Charlottesville to spread the word of your phenomenal Joe and to spread, frankly speaking, the good news and praise of Charlottesville, Virginia, and a small business that's enjoying some success. I champion you on the I Love CVille Show. Now, how about some sad news? Richmond, Virginia, my wife and I love to visit. We love to go to Jackson Ward. We love to go to Scott's Addition. Mrs. Miller, if you're watching, what is the name of that place where we get that hot fried chicken sandwich? Can you let me know for a text message? I think it's in Jackson Ward. The sandwich is called The Fancy. Is it Saison Cafe? Lauren, Saison Market, I believe. One of the best hot chicken sandwiches is in Saison Market, Saison Cafe, I believe it's called, in Jackson Ward. It comes with an egg on it. Hot chicken sandwich that is just banging. It is just banging. So we love to get out of town. We'll go to Jackson Ward. We'll go to Scott's Addition for some beers and to walk around. It's got a great concentration of beers. If you know anything about, and a lot of you do, if you know anything about having a 2.5-year-old, mom and dad maintain their sanity with 2.5-year-old Trey by getting him out of the house and having his mind that is going at 100 miles an hour, that's like a sponge that's absorbing things, having his brain seeing new things. So he's constantly engaged and not hitting us with the plastic Dino baseball bat or spilling his yogurt on the new carpet or trying to poke the eyes out of Leo, the 110-pound German Shepherd, who's only terrified of one person in life, and that's a 2.5-year-old, 31-pound, 3-foot child. Everybody else, he has no fear. Trey, who he loves, goes up to him and tries to poke his eyes out. So we take him places like Richmond, like Shaco Slip and Shaco Bottom. Phenomenal restaurants there. Unfortunately, 30 restaurants closing. Judah, are we able to get a screenshot of that article on screen of the list of restaurants for them to see? If not, I completely understand. I can read them out loud if you need me to. Just let me know. All right, it's on screen. So look at the screen. I'm going to read, and Susan Stimart, I'm going to go to you in about 4 minutes, Susan. Give the show a like and a share. Give it a like and a share. Here's some of the restaurants that are closed in Richmond forever because of COVID-19. Metro Grill, Katura on Grove. We know that one, Laura. Shaco Espresso, Lamplighter Coffee, The Naked Onion, Morton's Steakhouse, and Shaco Slip. Yes, Morton's is closing. Iris Luck, welcome to the show. Sandstown Smokehouse, Stump's Pig and Pint, Pizza Hut, Bob Evans, Boca Latin Grill, BJ's Restaurant, Saltbox Oysters, Pink Flamingo, Deep Run Roadhouse, Ponies and Pints, Tijuana Flats, Fox and Hound, Sugar Shack, O'Charlie's, a Panera Bread in Stony Point and one in Carytown, Mod Pizza, Billy Jack's Shack, Citizen, not Citizen Burger Bar, another Citizen on East Main Street, Metro Diner at Libby Place, 30 at least. And we'll include all the content that we're relaying to you on our package story here on ilovecville.com. When you visit the website ilovecville.com, you can see the video version of the show, and we also include the Spotify link, the iTunes link, the Apple Podcast link, for you to absorb the content in any way possible. And Spotify is blowing up for us. So 30 closed, man, in a town much like Charlottesville that prides itself in its culinary culture and its depth in cuisine. And whenever a business closes, regardless of the industry, especially those that are locally owned and operated, a part of me gets sad because I've been doing this for self-employed business owner for 12 and a half years. It will be 13 years on May 31st. And I put my life savings into this. I've taken one true vacation in 12 and a half years. That was our honeymoon, where we came back pregnant with our son Trey, and that opened up another Pandora's box of sweat equity and work. And my situation and story is not unique. This is what it takes to run a business, a family business. You sacrifice so much, especially in the early stages. So when they close, all of us should feel a sense of bitter and sadness because someone in our community has lost a dream of theirs. That's why it's paramount we support them. The next headline, the next two are casino related, and then Susan, I'm coming to you, Stimart. So we've been on top of this story from day one. We've been on top of the story with the slot machines in Prime 109. We've been on top of the story with Governor Ralph Northam allowing slot machines in Virginia as a way to make up a budget deficit for COVID. We've been on top of this story with the Virginia Lottery issuing 5 to 12 gambling licenses across Virginia. We've been on top of this story as the October 31st deadline for these licenses and the January 2021 announcement of who's going to get them. We've been on top of it. Danville, Virginia, and you could get the Danville headline up first, and then we'll go to the Bristol one. Danville, Virginia has a Caesars casino that's trying to come. Now, there's an individual in Danville who is a former politician. He's run for political office. He's creating a PAC, and a PAC is a political action committee. And this PAC, he is trying to raise money to create advertisements, direct mail pieces, social media campaigns, TV and radio campaigns. This PAC, which would be anti-Caesars Casino in Danville. And this PAC is going to try to educate the market on why a Caesars should not come to Danville, Virginia. My standpoint is this. The business of gambling has, without question, many negative connotations associated with it. The business of gambling often exploits, demoralizes, and destroys the vulnerable and those living on the financial margin more than it does with someone with deeper pockets. Those are facts. The business of gambling, look it up, impacts people of color much more negatively than, say, white people. Those are facts. We know that. That being said, the southwestern Virginia region has been left behind. Very little employment opportunities. Very little opportunity to climb the vertical career and financial ladder. So if you have a Caesars Casino that's promising 1,300 jobs at a strong rate with benefits, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, you must be mindful to it. And we know the governor and we know Virginia Lottery are going to have 5 to 12 casinos, OTBs, gambling parlors, whatever you call them, 5 to 12 strategically placed in Virginia. Bristol, Virginia, Judah, get it on screen if you could. Bristol is in talks now with a Hard Rock casino. Okay, so Bristol and a Hard Rock casino, you see, you got it on screen. You see Hard Rock Senior VP of Business and Casino Development, Sean Caffrey, standing next to a model of what this casino is going to do in Bristol. Bristol's another one that's been left behind. So what's happening is all these players are trying to dig in the trenches and manage perception. And I'm in the business of managing perception. That's what an advertising agency does. We manage the perception of our clients for the marketplace. We're very, very, very good at this. We're the best at this in this area. You're seeing the Hard Rocks and the Caesars, the best of the best in the casino branded business, managing the optics and perception better than others. And I'll leave it at that. They're being honest and approachable, communicative, talking about their missions and what they want to do with the media and saying, we welcome your thoughts. They're not being secretive. They're not letting the rumor mill run wild. They are saying, here is our plan of attack, as opposed to putting paper over a glass door to hide what's actually happening. And I'll leave it at that. This is called managing perception and optics. January 2020, we will know where these gambling parlors, these casinos, will be strategically placed across the Commonwealth. But we're intelligent people, right? Wouldn't the tea leaves say they're going to strategically place the casinos across the Commonwealth? Give one to Northern Virginia, Southwest Virginia, Richmond, Hampton Roads. How about a Central Virginia one? Can you think of where a Central Virginia casino would be better fit than maybe the Charlottesville Downtown Mall? Or is this a better situation for a Fashion Square Mall? Is this a better situation for a Stonefield? Right? It's going to happen. And COVID is magnifying that because we're operating at such a financial deficit. Government local, government commonwealth, government federal is looking for incremental or innovative ways to drive new taxable revenue as opposed to increasing taxes on its current people, right? We don't want to get stung with more taxes. That's why you could probably expect cannabis to get legalized. They've basically said if you get caught, they have said, this is a fact, I am being factual, you can look this up. If you have an ounce of cannabis on you, you get a $50 ticket, or they may not even ticket you at all. So they've essentially legalized it. So instead of taking it from the black market, and by black market I mean, not the above board market, just like betting with a bookie is the black market. Instead of taking it from there, you make it above board and you tax it. Save $288, Judah, with Ting Fiber Internet. ILoveCVille.ting.com. Susan, I'm coming to you here in about 20 seconds. ILoveCVille.ting.com. It's the best internet. It is so, look, it's doing this. $288. I got Susan on the line, Judah Wickower. Susan, if we can get, your camera's on. I love the backdrop. You're looking fantastic. Got the picture over here. All right, so you're live for a lot of people, Susan. How about this? Introduction quickly of you. And guys, the Thomas Jefferson Community Land Trust, 1255 on Fridays, is going to spend time with us. These are one of the people that this organization is making Charlottesville affordable for so many. They are ballers. I love these people. Susan is one of the chief ballers of this baller organization. All right, an introduction of you, Susan, to everybody that's watching.
Great. Thank you, Jerry. I'm Executive Director of the Thomas Jefferson Community Land Trust. Thank you for having me on the show today. I'm pretty excited to share with whomever's listening that we're at a point now where a really great article has just come out. We've actually posted it on our Land Trust website, tjclt.org. I'll say that again, tjclt.org. And the title of the article is How Community Land Trusts, so here we go, how Community Land Trusts can help heal, and that's the key word, heal segregated communities. This is a couple of academics talking on a journal website called The Conversation. So if no one's checked that out, that's also pretty interesting to check out, The Conversation. And these university professors were looking at ways that cities can help address some of the social inequity and inequality that's happening and coming to light. And you know what's interesting, Jerry? Where they landed was on the land trust solution. This was something that they thought, from all their research, was a really great way to start to address some of the inequality. And that completely resonates with me because I actually just look at the demographics of the land trust homeowners, the folks in our own community right now who are living in land trust homes. And it does speak to social equity. If I just rattle off a couple of statistics, I can tell you that, we've got a mixture of people who work at UVA, but also work at other places in our community. So the employment base is quite mixed. You've got 35% white homeowners, African American or Black are 30%. Biracial, if you count someone who's biracial, that's another 13% of our homeowners. Asian is 20%. And a number of our homeowners are refugee families. So anyway, I'm just sharing some of the demographics there of the Charlottesville Land Trust homeowners.
I love it. And Judah, I love that side-by-side look that you just did on screen. Well done, Judah Wickhauer. Susan, give us, as we make the land trust more common from a vernacular standpoint here in Charlottesville, which is what we're trying to do. We're trying to raise awareness and brand visibility for a fabulous organization. The land trust, in a layman's term nutshell, how does it make housing affordable?
So the buyer gets into a home for less money than elsewhere in the local market. And why is that? They're not paying for the land. They're just paying for the home. So all of a sudden, that makes home ownership affordable for certain segments of our community. So that it just brings the barriers down, basically, is how I'd explain that. And the other thing that's pretty neat about the Thomas Jefferson Community Land Trust is that it's a long-term solution. That home stays in a ground lease for 90 years. So, it just makes Charlottesville continue toward this journey of creating affordability, if you will, for the long term.
Can I ask you this question? And this question is being asked by Chris. I'm right off Nassau Street. I've seen the positive impact the land trust has already had in our neighborhood. This, I don't have the answer to it. And Jerry, if you can ask Susan this question. After 90 years, if the families choose to keep the house in their family or sell it to their kids and their kids to their kids, what happens after 90 years?
So the ground lease can automatically renew after 90 years. Or the homeowner can say they want to get out of the ground lease. But the really nice aspect about it is that the home can be passed from family member to family member if, in fact, they are able to income qualify. So, and then the other thing that's really fantastic is that the family can sell the home at any point in time. There's no commitment to stay in the home. If they make some financial decisions for their family, which we would encourage people to do, like maybe they take a job in a different city that's going to pay more money, that's a possibility. They could put the house on the market and sell it at any point in time to another family that will also income qualify, which means that they earn 80% or less of the area median income.
Nice.
That's how that works.
Another good question. Thomas Jefferson Community Land Trust, getting people interested. Wow, you have a lot of real estate agents watching right now. This question for you. Can folks that have a home with the land trust, are they able to make updates to the inside and outside of their home?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. The only thing that we ask is that they check with us first, particularly about the outside, because we can help them if there's like a zoning or a permit question they need to get in front of. Like, let's say you're going to put up a shed. I just helped a family figure out you got to be so many feet off the property line. But yeah, go ahead and put up your shed.
Here's a question that I have, and I'm just thinking out loud. Could someone do an ADU on land owned by the land trust? And an ADU is an auxiliary dwelling unit that is often used to help offset overhead tied to home ownership. A cottage that you create outside where you can rent to somebody. Can you do an ADU?
So, Jerry, that explicitly ties back to where the house is located, the underlying zoning. And if the underlying zoning permits an ADU, they certainly can. Yeah. And then, of course, what's interesting to note is that there are like newer versions of our ground lease, and so I'm thinking about the newer version. The older version of the ground lease, I'd have to go back and check some specifics about if there's any constraint on that. We partnered very early on with Habitat for Humanity, And so those ground leases are a little bit different.
But
for the most part, yeah.
Okay. Another good question coming in here. How does the land trust get land for such an affordable price to then be able to sustain its model? That's a good question. So basically, I'm going to try to put this question in a bow for you. You guys get the land, you build a structure on it, and then you sell the structure but maintain ownership of the land, and that's how they keep these houses being affordable, because someone's buying the structure and not the land itself. Land in Charlottesville and Albemarle County, guys, is astronomically expensive. How are you getting the land at such good deals?
We are doing everything possible. We're fundraising. We're applying for grants from the city and the county. We're working with area developers who have to meet proffers for affordability. So, yeah, we're doing everything possible to try and get the land as cheaply as possible. You're right, Jerry.
How can someone who may be interested donate land to you?
They would just reach out to me directly and say, Susan, let's talk.
Yeah. So most of the donations are coming from like a developer. Developers trying to build whatever it may be, single family, R1 detached, 300 units. Maybe the developer's trying to do like a Oak Hill Farm or a Winnington, or maybe the developer's trying to do like an apartment complex. And as part of the deal, they have to offer an olive branch to the city or an olive branch to the county. That olive branch is called a proffer, and this proffer in some ways could be, hey, I'm going to, if you allow me to build this, develop this, I'm going to donate this land to this organization to help affordability in our community. Is that fair?
That's fair. Totally fair.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Folks getting involved. They want to get involved. They want the American dream, Susan. Home ownership. How do we do it?
So they're going to reach out to me if they want to become applicants for land trust homes. My contact is on the website. We're also continuing to fundraise. If anyone wants to engage with us at that level, we're going to be launching, with your help, Jerry, the social equity game. And there'll be 4 teams starting October 1. You'll be hearing about that further or later on. And basically people can donate to support a given team. And all of that money will be dedicated to land acquisition, as we talked about.
We had a guest on our show, 2 guests, and Anwar and Laura Allen. And she knew, and you're going to have to help me with her name, the guest from the Land Trust last Friday. Is it Paula?
Paola. Her family heritage is from Italy. Paola.
Paola.
Christie.
Okay. And she was just, Laura told me and reached out to me, she was just moved by the interview emotionally.
Yeah.
And she said it was real because it was a real person in our community that needed some help, a real person in Charlottesville, and we need to keep and preserve more real people living here. Anywhere you want to go on that topic?
I can't say enough about Paola. She's got such a big heart. She was hanging out with me a couple weekends ago. We went kayaking. Her daughter had never been kayaking, so we got everybody in kayaks and we went cruising around and had a great time. And it's just so fantastic to watch that amount of love between a mother and daughter. She's an amazing mother, and by giving her this opportunity to own her own home, it just creates more stability for her and her child. So it's about supporting families at the end of the day.
I think it's also important for us to debunk any stigmas that housing through the land trust is only for, say, refugees. We have folks working at the University of Virginia that have bought property through the land trust. Give us some insight.
Yeah, that's a real conundrum we have in our community, is that we do have some land constraints, and so land prices are pretty high, as we talked about, and then have incomes kept up, not in every case. So there are some folks who, even though they work at the University of Virginia and they've got tremendous stability with those jobs and benefits, at the end of the day, the salaries they take home essentially make them eligible for a land trust home. They earn basically 80% of the area median income or less. So that's a thing. The 4 new homes that we built and sold in February, roughly three of them work at UVA, and the other one works at Albemarle County Schools. So that kind of shows you that, yeah, even working what's a great government job, you're maybe likely to be able to afford a land trust home at that point. The market rate homes may not be affordable for you.
That's very good. You're killing this, Susan. All right, let's throw this to you, and correct me if I'm wrong. You're a lot smarter than I am. Charlottesville is 10.2 square miles, so it's very limited in its land mass. Albemarle County, while quite large, due to the comprehensive plan, we only have a small percentage of Albemarle County that can actually be developed, and I think it's roughly 5%. And I'm not trying to put you in a spot with that answer, but it's a very small percentage of Albemarle County.
It's roughly 5%, and that works out to about 15 square miles.
Okay, so
you can compare it apples to apples to city of Charlottesville.
So we're learning something here. I'm literally learning something from you. I love how you're presenting this interview. We're learning something. 10.2 square miles total is the city of Charlottesville. Albemarle County is massive, one of the largest counties in the Commonwealth. However,
726.
How many miles?
726.
Okay, she's a smart lady. Albemarle County, 726 miles, okay? But only 15 miles. Jeez Louise, that makes no sense to me. That's a topic for another day. Albemarle County, only 5% of Albemarle County can be developed to create more housing. If we have more housing stock, that would create affordability.
I'm correcting my math.
Okay.
726 times 0.05 is 36 square miles. I don't know where I got 15.
Okay, so
I have to correct the math before others do it for me.
That's still very little. So 36.3 in Albemarle County, 10.2 in the city of Charlottesville. So my friend Susan, that means very quick math, only 46.5 square miles in the city of Charlottesville and Albemarle County can be developed for housing stock. That right there, I think, is one of the main reasons the cost of living in this community is astronomically high. Anywhere you want to go on this topic?
Yeah, so it's not just housing development. The growth areas of Albemarle County are meant for institutional developments like schools. It's meant for industry like the Comdial factory you may have seen passing by Seminole Place at Greenbrier and 29 North across from that Rio 29 post office. You can look up on the hill and know that that is a 500,000 square foot building. So you need space for buildings like that, which in this particular case, the Seminole Place building is like a multi-tenant, multi-purpose building. I believe Albemarle County's K-Tech programming has migrated to there, along with a lot of high-tech manufacturers. So housing essentially competes with the same land, the same space, as you would need for businesses. Multifamily housing also, if you think about apartment complexes, those are supposed to stay in the growth area. And then, the amenities that we think of, retail shopping, movie theaters, those are also growth area enterprises. And so all of these activities essentially are competing for the same land in the county's growth area. So that puts a lot of pressure on land pricing.
Yeah, sure. So basically what we've done, I'm a business guy when it comes down to it, okay? Basically what we've done is we have limited the supply through governmental policy of housing stock. And that limited supply through governmental policy of housing stock is also living in a world where every Tom, Dick, and Harry, every Sue, Laura, and Meg wants to live in this Charlottesville area because it's got a lot of amenities and a lot to offer. So a ton of people want to live here, and not only 46.5 miles roughly can be used for housing. And of that 46.5 miles for housing, you also have to consider commercial and all kinds of other development that's going to go in that mileage. So that's why
if you're going to put a golf course, that's going to want to go in the growth areas too. So also recreational amenities sometimes are supposed to be restricted to the growth area. Churches can go into the rural areas by special use permits, but that's kind of a technical thing. But even churches are primarily intended for the growth areas. So all of these things compete for the same acreage in the county's growth areas, if you want to think of it that way.
This is one of the few ways, and this is why we're passionate about this. We learned this from Keith Smith, and Susan is a phenomenal ambassador of the organization. This is why we are spotlighting this organization on Fridays from here on out, because this is one of the few, certainly the best way to keep our community eclectic, diverse, and robust in thought, as opposed to being a bastion or playground for the rich. That is not what I want as a father of a 2.5-year-old. I want him to grow up in a diverse and robust city, okay? And the Thomas Jefferson Community Land Trust is making that push. Susan, anywhere you want to go with a final word?
Well, I just want to say, going back to our land trust homeowners and the demographics, 40% of our land trust families are children. So we're making space for kids as well as senior citizens and persons with disabilities. So just want to put that one out there.
You guys are doing a heck of a job. I hope maybe next Friday we could talk with another homeowner and get their take.
Yeah.
That would be amazing.
Yeah, we'll work on that for sure. And I hope people get a chance to read that article put together by Professor Mark Roseland and Professor Christopher Boone in what's called The Conversation, because I think it's interesting for people to know that it's a dialogue that's happening in every city. Charlottesville sort of has a jump on it because the land trust has been here for 12 years. But thanks to you, Jerry, people are starting to get to know what it is. And once they know what it is and understand it, it's a lot easier to support its mission. So I want to say thank you for your work.
Our pleasure, Susan, our pleasure. Judah's been putting that article up on screen throughout the interview, and we will also link it to on the website for everyone to check out. We will chat. You rocked today. Seriously. You were awesome. You have a good weekend.
You too. Thanks, Jerry.
Our
Take
pleasure.
Care.
She
Goodbye.
rocked it. Judah, put it on screen again if you could, sir. This is one of the few, and guys, you guys know I'm a straight shooter. I call it like I see it, right? I call it like I see it. I think you appreciate the honesty. I think that's why you watch the show. That's why this network is reaching more people than any other media outlet in the community, and it's backed by numbers. I call it like I see it. I do not have to beat around the bush because I know the owner of the business. If we do not prioritize or do something, the Charlottesville and Albemarle County region, those two in particular, and then it will trickle throughout Central Virginia. The Charlottesville and Albemarle County region, if we do not do something, will become a bastion or a playground for the white and the rich. Can you be any more straight shooter than that? I say frequently on this program, my life has been changed because a 2.5-year-old, a little boy, came out of my wife, and I was there, and we're raising him, and nothing is better than coming home after grinding, and he's still working on the clarity of the words, but he'll say something like, "I love you, Dad," and then my heart just melts, and I'm like, that's the reason God has put this little boy in one of the reasons God's put this little boy in his life, despite the fact that he wakes up at 11 p.m. because he hasn't pooped for 6 days. Or he's waking up like a rooster every morning when the sun rises and it hits his back window. It's hard. It's freaking hard. It's hard. There's no playbook. I equate parenthood to the best, hardest thing ever. That's being a mom and dad, the best, hardest thing ever. And my wife is carrying the majority of the work because I'm working here and she's with him and still working on the family business. She's amazing. So if we want the next generation to grow up into a diverse, eclectic, diverse in thought, diverse in look, I think the land trust is our best bet. I mean, you have folks on Facebook, and I appreciate their efforts. I mean, my friend Matthew Gillikin, love that guy. Rory Stolzenberg is another example. We have folks that are chomping at the bit to change the zoning code and to take a city that's 10.2 square miles in Charlottesville and to reinvent it through zoning changes from being 53% single-family R1 detached home. Single-family R1 detached just means not a townhouse, condo, or apartment, standalone house. Over half of the housing stock in our city is zoned for a standalone house. That means it's going to be less dense in population. So their idea is to revamp the zoning code, make it easier to create more density, and how you create more density is condos, apartments, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. The tough part about that is the not in my backyard movement, NIMBYs. NIMBYs are homeowners that want to preserve the value of their home and keep them going north by limiting the stock of R1 single family in the community. If you don't have as much as something, if you have 10 candy bars and you have 20 people that want to eat those candy bars, those 10 candy bars are going to go up in price because 20 people want them. And they're going to escalate and create a bidding war for those candy bars. But if you had those 10 candy bars and you somehow were be able to, through a zoning change, make 20 candy bars or 30 candy bars or 40 candy bars, and you had 20 people that wanted those candy bars, the price would go down. So the not in my backyard movement wants to keep it at 10 candy bars because they know 20 people want those 10 candy bars and they are the owners of one of those 10 candy bars. So those 10 candy bars have that. And guys, I want you to hear this. I am in the real estate business. I own a home in Keswick. A lot of this building on Market Street and a rental properties in southern Albemarle County. If there's anyone that would benefit from having less housing stock, there's a lot of people that would. I certainly would. But as a social entrepreneur, as a conscious capitalist, as just as a father, I see in 20 plus years of being in Charlottesville, and it's crazy. I've now been in this, I came to this town as a first year at the University of Virginia that all he cared about was beautiful women, cold beer, and partying. I swear that's all I cared about. Now, married, father, care about the business is called I Love CVille. If we don't do something, we're going to have just a rich area. That's going to probably influence the next generation, right? I think the land trust is our best option. Zoning revamps and zoning changes, arduous, time-consuming, will be met with massive resistance. Land trusts, welcome, approachable, popular. Every Friday, we'll try to spotlight this organization in a positive spotlight. J-Dubs, next headline, my friend. Ooh, is it the sushi one? It is the sushi one. Who loves sushi? I love sushi. Do you love sushi? My wife introduced me to sushi. And now I just cannot get enough of the sushi. I love putting the wasabi on there, and you get too much wasabi, and it clears up your nose and your sinuses. Your eyes are watering. I love seeing the sushi, and I'm like, I'm starving. Is that enough to make me hungry? And it expands in your belly when you eat it. So this got me to thinking, one of the beautiful things about building a business from scratch is you can build a business around the things you like to do. And one of the things I love to do is eating. I'm a foodie. I love to eat out. My wife's a foodie. My wife spent 8 years in New York City. Okay, she had the best of the best at her disposal on every block. So she's a foodie. We love doing it. One of the beautiful aspects of I Love CVille is we're able to eat not only for enjoyment, but for professional, or for our jobs, right? It's market research that we can talk about legally, completely above board with the law on this show. And one of the things we enjoy doing is eating out all the time. It's our jobs, right? One of the cuisines that we absolutely love, and put your favorite sushi spots in the feed and I'll relay them on air. Let me know what your favorite sushi spots are. One of the things we absolutely love is sushi. And our number one favorite spot for sushi, Mrs. Miller, what was that place in Maui? Can you let me know, text me that, sushi, Maui Sushi. What was the name of that place? Gosh, I cannot believe I'm drawing a blank. Can you let me know what that is, Lou? That would mean a lot to me if you could do that. But the number one in the city of Charlottesville, for us, is Now and Zen. And if you have not had Now and Zen, Toshi is a sushi artist and master. Look at the screen. You rotating photos of Now and Zen on screen, J-Dubs? You're a good man, Judah Wicker. The rolls at Now and Zen are so large that you can barely fit them in your mouth. The fish is fresh, like super fresh. I think my number one spot for sushi in the city of Charlottesville, from a taste, value, price point standpoint, is Now and Zen right off Market Street. A close second for sushi is 10 on the Charlottesville Downtown Mall. Now, there's an astronomical price difference between Now and Zen and 10. 10, you get the ambiance, you get the sexiness of eating inside, you get this dope bar that lights up, you get craft cocktails. I mean, you go on a first date to the Now and Zen, and you're a dude, and you're bringing a special someone with you. Guys, a special someone's going to be, you get it. You know what I'm saying, all right? You get it? All right, I'll leave it at that. Now and Zen may not have the experience or the aesthetic or decor of 10, but I think the fish and sushi is better and the price point is 15 to 20% less. That being said, on a date night, especially a first one, you may consider 10 if you want to make an impression. Number 3, literally texting with people as I'm talking here. People are telling me their favorite sushi spots. Number 3, I would say, Tokyo Rose? A lot of people are saying 3 is Tokyo Rose. What's your number 3 sushi spot? A lot of people saying Tokyo. Okay, Tokyo Rose, a lot of people saying is number 1. Tokyo Rose off of Ivy Road, next to Foods of All Nations, right? Kind of like in that shopping center next to Foods of All Nations. That place is dope. That place is banging. That place is good. There's a spot on Pantops that's got good sushi. It's called Kabuto. Caputo's got good sushi. The price point's really good. The rolls are smaller, but the sushi's very good. If you're looking for buffet sushi, it's all you can eat. Sushi King fits that model. There's something for me about eating sushi that's been out for an extended period of time or served in a buffet setting. There's something for me where it's like, it's like, you know what I'm talking about. That's another one to consider. I would very much encourage you to try Now and Zen. That's my number 1. 10, if you're looking for a date night to make an impression on a special someone. Number 3, Tokyo Rose is legit and has withstood the test of time. And 4, this Kabuto spot on Pantops that we've eaten a few times is pretty legit too. My wonderful wife just let me know it's called Miso Fat in Maui. Miso Fat. That place was so good in Maui. We were there 7 days. How many times did we eat there? Was it 3 or 4 times? So good that on the 4th time, the owner walked in and I said, "Sir, do you have any kind of franchise documents where we could potentially bring a Now and Zen to the Commonwealth of Virginia?" And he said, "Here you go." And he gave me a 300-page packet. He gets that question so much. The only problem with bringing Miso Fat to the Commonwealth in a franchise concept, and I was ready to do it. The only problem with that was the cost of bringing the fish. What made Miso Fat so good, I literally in Maui on our honeymoon saw the owner, who's a diehard fisherman, has his own boat in Maui. I saw the owner come in with fresh fish from his boat trip that morning, give it to the sushi artist behind the sushi bar, the fresh fish. He cut it up and then served it to my wife and I. He caught the fish at, 11 a.m., brought it in after getting off the boat, took it to the sushi artist. The sushi artist cut it up, rolled it, and then served it to us. And I was like, oh my God, it was ridiculous. We 4 times in 7, was it 4 times in 7 days? She'd say 5 times in 7 days. So look, it's more difficult now to eat in. Can we eat inside? Are we allowed to eat inside in COVID-19? Is it 25% indoor capacity in Albemarle County? Is that what it is? Someone help me on that. Whatever it is, it's limited capacity. And a lot of people are hesitant, and I understand why. If you're looking for a takeout to go, I would go Now and Zen. And Toshi is an artist. Someone tell Toshi we're giving him props. That's my number 1. Ten's my number 2. Tokyo Rose is my number 3. And then Kabuto on Pantops, that's a 4 spot for you. Let's get to a couple more headlines. We'll get to your comments. Viewer and listener comments, put them in the comment section. We'll get to them in a matter of moments here on the I Love CVille Show. Remember, this show is archived for your enjoyment on ilovecville.com, on Spotify, on iTunes, on podcasts of anywhere you listen to your podcast, we have it on there. All right, basketball, college, the Maui Hoops Invitational. Sources are telling ESPN the Maui Hoops Invitational, the kickoff to the college basketball season. Boys and girls is going to move to Asheville, North Carolina. COVID-19, I hate you. Maui Invitational, college students enjoying Maui, Hawaii, where we spent our honeymoon. Maui Invitational heading to Asheville, North Carolina. It's still going to have the same teams: Alabama, Davidson, Indiana, North Carolina, Providence, Stanford, Texas, and UNLV. It's going to go from Maui to Asheville, North Carolina. Guys, if we have a college basketball season, prepare yourself for it to be in a pod-like setting like the National Basketball Association. More sports news. You have 2 ACC games on the docket this weekend on Saturday night. You have Miami at Louisville. That is the best game on the college football schedule, Saturday all day. Miami at Louisville on national TV. Louisville's a 2.5-point favorite, 7:30 kickoff. You get 3 points for playing at home, so that means Miami's, look at the odds makers in Vegas, see Miami is the favorite. You get 3 for playing at home. I miss college football so badly. Don't you? I certainly do. Wake Forest at NC State, Wolfpack minus 1.5, 8 p.m. kickoff. 4 college football games have already been postponed this Saturday due to COVID-19. One of them, the UNC football game where they were going to host the Charlotte 49ers. 4, count them 4, postponed for this Saturday already. Save $288 on Ting Fiber Internet. Judah, show them how. $288 on Ting Fiber Internet through only this link, ilovecville.ting.com, ilovecville.ting.com. I'm a straight shooter. I call it how I see it. I'm the guy who was giving Bodo's Bagels a hard time for having a drive-through that was spilling onto Preston Avenue and onto Route 29 because of its popularity. If you're willing to say something like that in Charlottesville about an iconic brand, you know you don't beat around the bush and you're a straight shooter and you call it like you see it. Ting will change how you use the internet, how your kids learn virtually. To say it's an upgrade is saying Now and Zen is better than Sushi King. It's an obvious statement. I'm telling you, if you want to improve virtual learning with your kids, ilovecville.ting.com. All right, comments, DMs, coming in. We got a lot of them. We're a popular show here. This is from, what is your last name? Can I say Laura C? I'm sorry, I would butcher your last name, Laura. Okay, I thank you for watching the show. And I'm sorry I cannot pronounce your name. It's not because Laura C., thank you for watching. Jerry, I love your show. I literally watch your show every single day. I like how you present the news because you're not talking about murders and crimes and rapes and stuff that's just going to get me depressed in COVID-19. You're actually talking about stuff that's real, that matters to our community. I just wanted to thank you for that. And please, like many people have said on this show, if you make any run for public office, you have my vote, and I will volunteer our time to help your campaign. Thank you. That means a lot to me. Thank you for saying that. That is very kind of you. I do want to do that. I really do want to do that. I mean, we have to give back, don't we? We have to give back. Iris, I love when you watch the broadcast, Iris. Thank you so much for watching the show. We're so grateful. Rosemary Postel, thank you for watching the program. We're very grateful. Let's go to Instagram here. We are offering the I Love CVille Daily Digest, 5 o'clock, 5 days a week, 5 minutes or less. The I Love CVille Daily Digest, all your news, 5 o'clock, 5 days a week. 5 minutes or less on Instagram and across the I Love CVille Network. Jerry, have you tried the sushi at Wegmans? This comment is coming in from Wesley. The sushi at Wegmans is fresh. It's made each day, and it's priced under 10 or 12 bucks. I think you would like it. Let us know what you think of the sushi at Wegmans next week on the show if you could. My wife and I generally get one or two packs of rolls every time we go there. This is from Vanessa. Jerry, I agree that Now and Zen is fantastic. I miss the ability of being able to eat inside. However, we've been doing a lot of takeout, and Now and Zen is our takeout to go. We had it on, was it Wednesday, Thursday? And dude, the line was almost out the door. It was so popular. Obviously, the sushi is making a statement here. This is from Liza. Jerry, the show is absolutely fantastic. We appreciate the positive content that you mentioned to everybody. Don't underestimate Tokyo Rose. It is a good spot for a date night, and my husband and I go there. Tokyo Rose is a good one. I have yet to try Kabuto, and I will never try Sushi King. Okay, that's your prerogative. You can certainly do that. This is from Kay Sneed. Jerry, I love the interview with the Land Trust. I didn't know about the organization. We will certainly look into donating from a fundraising standpoint when they open up the doors for that. You are right. This is one of the few ways we can keep the area affordable. Thank you for saying that. This is from Rob. Rob is watching in Fluvanna County. Lister. Jerry, we watch your program over at Lake Monticello all the time. Please tell Keith Smith that he did a heck of a job on the show this morning. You two crack us up. Well, thank you. Keith Smith's a friend. I enjoy him very much. Rico Allen watching the program. Jerry, I don't think we're going to get to football. We're certainly not going to get to that December 12th game that you're talking about with UVA and Virginia Tech. We have games being canceled now. Are we going to skip the year for the Commonwealth Clash? And if we do, can we say the UVA Wahoos have the trophy for 2 years straight? I'd rather win it than inherit it, wouldn't you? But thank you for watching the program. Bashir. Remember, Bashir is having a party. Bashir's Tavern on the Downtown Mall is closing on Sunday. And the last grand hurrah is Sunday with live music, with Bashir singing. Barbara Lundgren will be in attendance. You got food coming out. You do have to call ahead and get on a list. So call ahead and get on a list. Kyle Hobbit says this is the best show on television. We watch this routinely, and I just found out my grandmother watches you. I found that out at a cookout at our house the other day. So you have 3 generations of our family watching this show. Well, thank you for saying that. That was very kind. We're truly grateful. We just try to be positive and approachable on this show. That's all I'm trying to do. News that I think actually matters to the community, right? All right, let's thank Judah, Susan Stimart. Remember, the I Love CVille Daily Digest is today at 5 o'clock. Have a good weekend. Keep it local. Support the businesses that need help. Please, please, please. I'm Jerry Miller. Take care.